Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and I take this opportunity of welcoming Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh to this special edition. Namaste, Dr. Sir, welcome.
Namaskar, namaskar everyone.
And I would like you to share your thoughts on the new feeling which people are experiencing after this COVID is gradually receding and a lot of celebrations happening. So overall, how do you feel and the way society is kind of celebrating it through traveling and parties?
I think everyone is feeling very excited. They're feeling very relieved. They are coming back to normal life, and I think people love to be with the socially with their friends, family members, and so forth. And also they can go out and eat in the restaurant, have one-to-one conversation with the friends and the family members and colleagues. So I think the feeling is it's unbelievable. Everyone is very happy and very anxious to do this thing and enjoy the normal life.
And one thing about which Indian American community would also be proud is the pick of President Biden for Drug Czar as Rahul Gupta. Would you mind sharing with us what is a potential role that a drug czar position plays, and having an Indian American in that position, how important and significant it is?
Well, drugs are has very important responsibility. They are kind of in charge, or they are policy making of the all the drugs and use of the drug, and its use abuse of the drug in the country. So I think it's very important because nowadays the drug problem is very rampant, in particular in the young generation, and these drugs are can help to control the addiction, overuse of the drug, and make sure that all the drugs are used for the for reason what they are meant to be used and not to be abused.
I
And
think
and being an Indian American appointee, I think we all should feel proud of it, and we can say that Indian American has arrived on the scene, and America has to reckon with our Indian American talent and intelligence and Indian Americans' ability to govern.
absolutely. And this position also reminds me of the emphasis which President Obama especially paid on this aspect of overuse of drugs, not exactly without prescription. And sometimes students find a way or youth find a way to get those drugs which they can only get through prescription, but some via media, etc. So would you mind sharing how deep this problem is and what causes sometimes probably youth use it as a substitute of the real drug?
Well, I think the problem is very deeply rooted because of and all these drugs which they are abusing it. They are addiction, very addictive, and therefore once they are on the hook on those drugs, they can get deeper and deeper into it, and they have, usually they should not have any access, but some um, unscrupulous pharmacists, unscrupulous people in the society, they sell this drug for the financial benefit to the school going children, and they are the one who really get into this kind of addiction and abuse of this drug. And particularly the bars and that kind of night out outfit, they are the one who sells this drug illegally and unofficially, and government job is to stop find them out and root them out and stop them.
So it's quite a difficult task. Many times difficult to sort of trace where this problem is originating. But moving forward and moving towards the problem of population, and UP Chief Minister in India, Yogi Adityanath ji, proposed a population policy bill in the form of a draft. Um, if you care to share the need and importance at this point to pay attention and sort of stay focused on containing population explosion in India, and how this population policy draft may have some solution.
Well, population explosion is a big problem in India. India is almost reaching to 1.5 billion by probably 2030. And that it means that India will be a largest populated country in the world. 1/16th of the population is in India with the limited land and resources. So population control is very important. But I'm not sure by drafting legislator that will work. On the contrary, the only way to do it is usually if you look at the population, usually it goes with the poorest of poor in the society has more children than the people who are middle class or well-to-do people. So it shows that if government increases the uh, or uplifting the income or income of all the society in general, and if people get a little more educated, and women should be educated that what is a what why we should have only two children, not the four children, then I think that will be more effective rather than just saying that if you have more than two children, then you cannot have government job or government benefits. I think that kind of thing, even though this law can pass in parliament, but may not stand scrutiny to Supreme Court, because then it becomes kind of unconstitutional because of just like what happened in 1977 when Sanjay Gandhi tried to forcefully sterilize the people to control the population, and it went completely wrong way. And at the end, Indira Gandhi lost the election because of that, probably. So I think only way to control the population is educate the women, increase health care, and because most of the in India or in any developing country, most of the abortion which happens, which is kind of that's not the way to control the because of the poverty and because of the lack of education and lack of understanding. uh, if we increase the health system, we can increase the perinatal care, and if we increase the education of the women, I think that's the only way to control the population and increase the economical status of the all the whole the population, all part of the whole strata of the society. So once you get from the poor to middle class, then automatically people can understand what is the advantage of having small family rather than having big family.
I think you make a very, very important point, and your analysis is quite wholesome. It also takes into account the previous attempts made in this direction. But the kind of criticism which came to this population policy draft was looking at it as if this is going to work towards garnering Hindu votes, or in some way it is a policy, population policy draft, which is working against minorities. And some statements were very sort of, they lack dignity, I would say. Like Congress former Union Minister Salman Khurshid said, we should count legitimate as well as illegitimate children, and this is all election gimmick. So, just bringing it back in terms of how the impact on demography may happen by population control, and your reaction to Congress criticism.
Well, I mean, the criticism by Congress or other opposition party is not also uh, very good, and it's a kind of twisted opposition, kind of, it's opposition for meant, it's a political opposition. So I would not pay much attention to it, but in reality, if you want to control the population, probably this is not the best way to do it. The best way to do is to educate the women, educate the family, increase the perinatal care, and increase the income. I mean, income of the society. That way, once you once they have once you increase the income of the society at large, then probably I think population will automatically come under control. And of course, it's a long shot. It's a long way. It takes long time to do this. But because this kind in democracy and particularly in our constitution, this kind of law may not stand the scrutiny of Supreme Court.
So that we will see, of course, and they must be aware of where it may stop. But there is another demand that Madhya Pradesh should also follow suit from UP. But moving towards another important development which has taken place recently, and that is the expansion of Modi government's cabinet ministers. And in this context, the HRD ministry is renamed as Education Ministry. Um, what might have led to this shift in the naming of HRD ministry as Education Ministry, and your comments on the major changes which you feel are exciting as far as inducting of new ministers is concerned?
Well, I think the overhaul or revamping of the or expanding the ministries is a welcome step, and any government has any government has right to do that. And usually, most of the government they do in the mid course of their tenure. And I think Prime Minister has all right to do this thing, and he has done excellent distribution of the ministry, and he has welcomed a lot of young ministers, young MPs as a minister, and those who has some expertise in the subject. He brought them in, and that shows that a very dynamic, proactive thinking of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. And I welcome them and I congratulate Prime Minister and all his ministers. And the good part that in my state of the Gujarat, my home state of Gujarat, there are five ministers are inducted in the ministry, new ministry. So I'm very pleased, and luckily I know all five of them, and I had a correspondence with them last week only, and I sent them congratulations on behalf of Parikh Media and ITV to all those five ministers from the Gujarat and the Prime Minister of India and Home Minister of India by doing this expansion. And I think this expansion is welcome. It will increase the economical development of the India. It will increase social development of the India, and it's very young ministry, and I think and very educated ministry, and that therefore I wholeheartedly welcome this ministerial expansion.
Yeah. And also in this connection, I am reminded of the new IT minister, probably Ashwini Vaishnavji, who also studied here at Wharton, and with such an impressive educational background, the kind of responsibility which he has been entrusted, do you think it will help India in finding a proper rhythm of relationship with social media like Twitter also, and overall India's policy in this direction?
Yes, nowadays the IT ministry is very important ministry. That's only way you can connect with the not only social media but connect with the other countries of the world. And therefore I think selection of the IT minister, Mr. Vaishnav, is it's really welcome and commendable. And we know that he is very celebrated, very accomplished bureaucrats who become now minister. And I think we should welcome it, and we hope that he will deliver according to our expectation.
Absolutely. And as we conclude, your thoughts on observing Cow Appreciation Day, which is 13th July, and your parting words for our viewers.
Well, I think Cow Appreciation Day, I think it's a great symbolic gesture to remember that cow is really a great animal for the Hindu religion. And we know that our society, the cow gives us lot of gives us not only milk. Cow also helps in farming. Cow also helps in so many other things, particularly cows' dung and cows is useful for energy and so forth. So I think celebration of the cows day is really a great idea, and that gives a lot of respect to the cows. And I think I appreciate that, and that is a right thing to do. And again, still I'm going to say that in India the vaccination is still very slow, and people are kind of not following COVID protocol. They are get together, and even today, this morning, Prime Minister has given the advice to, or kind of instruction to all the people of the India, saying that don't go and gather and don't go on vacations and gather in the large crowd, because still Indian population is not vaccinated fully, and chances of creating the third wave is much more very high, and therefore they should follow the COVID protection instruction, wear the mask, stay away from the big crowd, and try to get the vaccination whenever it's possible.
So,
So I would like to thank all my viewers for joining us. God bless America. God bless India. God bless Indian American community. And we'll see you again next week. Till then, goodbye.